Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Pallet of Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Warhammer news video. As per usual with all these videos though, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys and it does go a long way to helping the channel too. So, without further ado, of course it is Warhammer Fest week, so I've been doing videos near enough every day. However, I didn't do a Warhammer Fest video on Wednesday due to Mortal Realms being out. I didn't do one on Thursday because, in all honesty, I got home from work and I was absolutely exhausted, so I didn't really feel up to it. So, without further ado, we're going to go through day 3 and day 4 of what has happened at Warhammer Fest and what they've revealed and everything like that. So, there are quite a few minis and quite a few novels involved with this. So, we'll start off with day 3, which was Black Library. And you know, you've got some good novels. So if you're into your Warhammer fiction, there are 3 new Warhammer crime novels coming out. 2 of them are anthologies. So there is Broken City, which is a collection of novellas, 6 short stories, 7 short stories concerning the dogged probators, brutal sanctioners and ruthless gangers. And then there is also Sanction and Sin, which is another anthology of 9 short stories covering generally the same type of thing, corrupt enforcers, petty gangs and survivors and stuff like that as well, travelling through and trying to, you know, all involving crime of course. And then there's Grim Repast, which is a Quillian Drask novel, which is another strange case for Quillian Drask, who is not quite prepared for the blasphemous conspiracy he's about to unravel apparently. For 40k, there was Traitor Rock announced, which is a Minkalesque novel, which is about the Acadian 100 of First, led by Minkalesque, of course, who is taking the fight to the traitors on Mallory. And then there was also the Twice Dead King, Ruin, which is a Necron novel, which is about a disgraced Necron Lord Oltix who has to overcome his bitterness and return to the very court that cast him out to bring news of an orc invasion. And apparently they've also got a sequel to that novel in the works already. Then they also announced a book called Steel Tread. Don't know huge amounts about it, but it is inside the mighty Layman Russ Demolisher. That an outsider has had to take command of a dysfunctional crew of Cadians that are faced with the fight of their life as well. There is also, if you enjoy Horus Heresy, there is a new Horus Heresy novel, which is Siege of Terror, Warhawk. Could be pretty good. I've not got into Horus Heresy myself, so I don't know much about it. But if you're into Horus Heresy, this is definitely the one for you. This is book 6 from the range, and it's all about the Siege of Terror itself and the Warhawk, who knows that defeat could mean the end of his legion and of Terror itself. There was Volpone Glory, which I don't know a huge amount about it. It is the Volpone Blue Bloods take on the Blood Pact in a brutal grind to liberate Nostis as war rages across the Sabbat worlds. And continuing with the Sabbat worlds, there is also Urdesh, the Serpent and the Saint. So it's the next chapter in the ongoing Sabbat worlds saga, which is focusing on Urdesh, of course, and the Iron Snakes themselves. There is also the Sabbat Worlds Crusade, which is a novel, and there is also a limited edition tome, which is a book which adds further depth to the lore. It contains a bunch of illustrations, some maps, charts, and details about key theatres and conflicts of the campaign. And from the looks of it, you get several coins from it, or tokens, which is pretty decent and, you know, a bit more unique for it. And then there was also Sabbat War, which is a collection of stories all involved in Sabbat Worlds anthology. So yeah, more information for you if you're after that type of stuff. Then there was also the new novel, which takes us back to the early days of Ibram Gaunt and the Tanith Thirst, where you learn a dark secret that's haunted them ever since. And this limited edition, where it's got a nice bound copy of a book. It has like a leather pouch and satchel. There is a memory box. There is some maps, there is a cap pin, coins, a patch, There is some other bits and pieces as well, so pretty cool stuff. And a data sheet to use Gaunt's Ghosts in your games of Warhammer 40k. Now, talking of Gaunt's Ghosts, they of course announced a bunch of figures for Gaunt's Ghosts as well. So there is of course the good old Colonel Commissar Ibram Gaunt himself that's been kind of shown off, which looks pretty cool. There is Colonel Colm Corbeck, which, you know, trying to say that 3 times faster when you're drunk will be very, very difficult. Major Elim Rawn as well, with his handy dagger he's holding in his, and the fact that he's got some blade skills. Master Sniper Hlain Larkin, who, I must admit, that model looks fantastic. I do like a really, really nice pose sniper. There's Triagram Bragg, who is a big guy who can carry most heavy weapons without the need of tripods or anything like that and use them. But of course he's not very accurate, and which is why he's nicknamed Try Again. And then there is Sergeant Scout Ern McCall, another one that's quite nicely posed, standing on that tree branch holding that dagger, and he's looking like he's very, very much ready to go on the attack. So that was day 3. A lot of stuff there. No Age of Sigmar novels, weirdly, which I thought was a bit unusual, but I'm sure that there'll be more coming soon at some point, because they like pumping out all this fiction, which is really, really good stuff, really. So yeah, that was all of that type of stuff. Now we're going to move on to day 4, which was all revolving around boxed games. So, for boxed games themselves, of course, they've covered Warhammer Underworlds, Necromunda, and Aeronautica Imperialis. Now, let's start off with Warhammer Underworlds. So, Warhammer Underworlds Diachasm, they're going to get another new warband, which is pretty cool. So, we've already just had the Seraphon warband, there's an Orc warband to come. And of course we've had the new vampires for Crimson Court, which are really, really awesome, and I must admit I love them and I've got them. And I'm still painting them up at the moment. But there will be an Idoneth Deepkin warband finally. So this warband is Elephane's Soul Raid. Pretty cool units. There's 5 models in total. So you have Elephane himself, you have another Idoneth Deepkin warrior, and then you have a Thrall, and then we have a big fish and a giant crab. And the crab is what everybody seems to be going on about more than anything. More people want to see that crab more than anything else, which is really, really good. I must admit, I like that crab. I think it's quite fun and a bit more interesting to have a crab that you can use in your mini games and stuff like that, which is really, really good fun. I can imagine some people trying to get quite a few of these packs and just trying to do a whole army of crabs, which will be nuts, in all honesty. But really, really good stuff, and it's nice to see another Idoneth Deepkin warband and see that the Idoneth aren't being left out when all these new elves are being released and stuff like that as well. Moving on to Necromunda and into the Underhive itself. There is a new book for House of Shadow, which is all about Gang de Lac, and giving a bit more information about them. Some new fighters and everything like that is also coming for it. So there is the Nacht Ghoul, which are de Lac champions, which look pretty cool. The one with the sword looks really, really nice. I do like that one, pretty interesting as well. There is also the Psygeists, which are youngsters who have learned to tap into their psychic power, and are looking very like they're a bit too small to fit into their outfits, in all honesty. Accompanying them, there is Psychometric Worms and Piscean Spectres. Not sure what these are, but I think there'll be a lot of fun finding out with these guys. But they will be chugging along into the Underhive too. Talking of the Underhive as well, if you're into your Warhammer video games, there is a new Necromunda video game coming out. So it's from Focus Home Interactive. It is called Necromunda Hired Gun. It is a first person shooter. It looks pretty gnarly, I must admit. I quite like the look of it. Worth checking out. It comes out on the 30th of June for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and I believe it also comes out on PC as well. But yeah, should be quite interesting. Underhive Wars on PC was fantastic, which is also available on PS4 and Xbox in all honesty. But that one's a really, really good game if you like your tactic style games. But it's nice to see that they are putting a first person shooter out for it, which is really, really good stuff. Then moving on to Aeronautica Imperialis, which kind of feels like it's been left to one side most of the time, and they only do very, very few releases for it. There is going to be a new box, which is Wrath of Angels. And finally, we are getting Aldari Craft Worlds coming into the game as well. And it's Craft Worlds versus Space Marines, which, yeah, not too bad. So it's not the Imperial Navy or anything like that this time round. So we have some new ships to look at. So, of course, we've got the Eldari aircraft, which are very, very sleek, very, very nice looking. I like them. I think they look pretty cool, and can't wait to kind of maybe get myself some and see what they're like to paint up and everything like that. And in all honesty, the Space Marine ones look very, very much like, of course, the Imperial Navy stuff, because it's very, very similar. But there are some pretty cool bits and pieces, including a new Thunderhawk, which is the iconic Space Marine aircraft, which they'll be releasing as a standalone, and it'll be more solo and everything like that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, some really, really good stuff coming for the box games. Not super huge amounts. There was no Blood Bowl mentioned, there was no Warhammer Quest mentioned, because, you know, that's a touchy subject at the moment, so who knows what's going on with them. I hope there will be more Blood Bowl teams coming soon. I love Blood Bowl. I think it's fantastic. The teams are always really, really nice looking. But yeah, it's now just a waiting game to see what is going to happen with everything with these guys. And yeah, that's it really. So the only other thing I wanted to mention, of course, there is new news. There is going to be a new range of synthetic brushes from Citadel as well. They look quite nice, I must admit. They look pretty decent. I might try and pick some up at some point, just to see what they're like. Depends on how ridiculously expensive they're going to be, but you know, they could be really, really good stuff, so it'll be a bit interesting to see with that one. But for now, well, that's me done for the day. I will be back later on for day 5's reveals, so it's more Warhammer 40k tonight. So of course 40k is not my strongest subject, so forgive me if I pronounce things wrong, if I mention things that are wrong or anything like that. Just forgive me on that one. And tomorrow will be day 6, the last day of Warhammer Fest 2021 online, and who knows what we're going to get, but I'm hoping for some good stuff. I reckon they've got some sneaky stuff up their sleeves, and it'd be nice to see. But for now, thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye now.